Good afternoon, good evening, Dr. Melissa. Welcome to the Ace Tech Career Show. We are so honored to have you join us. So we want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself that you want us to know.
Okay. Thanks, Winnie, for inviting me to this auspicious program. I think it's a fantastic project you've embarked on, and I'm happy to put my full support to it. So my name is Melissa Baba. I was born in Bolgatanga in 1982, December.
Awesome.
So I'm one of three kids. I have two brothers, and yes, I'm the only girl, clearly, if you're one of two
Wow.
kids. So my education for is mostly in information systems,
Okay.
information studies. So my degree is in information studies, my master's is management information systems, and my PhD is in informatics and system science. My work
Wow.
experience has largely been in the fintech field. However, I played various roles because I joined in 2008 at a time when fintech wasn't a thing. I joined the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems Limited, and this is a subsidiary of the Bank of Ghana, which was set up for a number of reasons. One of them was to drive Ghana towards a cashlight economy, leveraging digital financial services. The other was to create shared platforms to facilitate integration across various key players in the financial services space. And so in my time at Gibbs, I played various roles: business development, operations, clearinghouse, arbitration. But the last 5 or 6 years before I left, I really focused then on what my skills were, which was being a business analyst, managing our information systems, as well as conducting research or leading research for the company, and then training. So building curriculum for external stakeholders to understand how our products work and various aspects of our business. Um, but I have switched industries. I've moved from industry itself, fintech industry, to academia.
Wow.
Also because I think it's a strategic move. Whilst the fintech industry has boomed and grown, we've not been able to get enough skills that is needed to feed that growing economy. A lot of us, if you ask, that have worked in the fintech industry, have sort of acquired our skills on the job. And many of us have had various academic backgrounds coming into that field. But I think the future of fintech is such that academic institutions need to begin to supply tailored skills for that sector. And so I've slipped over, hopefully to contribute to my quota in that emerging area of interest. So I'm currently with the University of Southampton. I'm a research fellow, and my job is 80% research, and I focus on fintech. I'm quite interested in the digital revolution that fintech brings, but I'm also interested in regulation, fintech regulation and policies. Not just the fact that they are amazing for driving adoption, but sometimes they become a constraint to the very social progress we are aiming for. To conclude, I'm a mom. Yes, I have three kids. I almost said I'm a
Wow.
mom of three. I was trying to rhyme with being,
Eh,
coming from a family of, but yeah, I have three beautiful children
wow.
and lots and lots of friends in the fintech field that I think without them, my journey in the fintech and my progress in that field would not have been so. I take this point to say well done to them for being part of my life. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very, very fantastic journey, and congratulations to you. Usually, you find people who are strictly industry or strictly academia, but to have you move from industry to academia, that's really, really strong, and it's actually very good for us because our show is about enabling the growth of technology careers through clarity by example and true inspiration by example. So, speaking with people like you would help those who are undecided or confused or not sure which career pathway to go, either still in tertiary education or early career journeys. And even sometimes I've had opportunity to speak with people who have had extensive careers like 10, 50 years of professional experience, but they still don't feel fulfilled or satisfied, or they want a switch or transform their career. So, actually, having an expert like you who has done so well within industry Now Switch also gives a lot of hope for those who are looking to have a change after being in industry for a while or being in academia for a while. Funny enough, just last week I spoke with another classmate of mine who is a lecturer. So he has PhD in computer science and he's been lecturing for a while. And he told me he wants to come into industry because been in academia for about 10 years and he feels he wants to transition from teaching and theory and academics to application of the expertise he has. So it's quite interesting, and that's why we this show was built so that we can let people see how others have done it, they listen to their stories, and also inspire and transform people in the journey. Especially now that technology careers is the growing and the biggest employer and the biggest provider of opportunities. We want everybody to be able to come into tech and find their space. So congrats, congrats,
Thank you,
congrats.
Winnie. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, in a way, meaning that you've had various, as an analyst, information and systems analyst, you've had various ways of serving clients. So, you mentioned as well as you were at Gibbs, who would you say were your stakeholders were, and how were you serving them with the skill sets you had then?
So I'll break down my experience at Gibson, maybe three phases. The first
Okay.
part was being in the business development department. And at that point, we were sort of supporting our external stakeholders, being banks, as well as government agencies. One, to understand the vision of the central bank when it came to digitizing financial services and sort of driving financial inclusion. And then two was to sort of help them onboard to the platforms that were introduced. The
Mm.
first one being eSwitch and subsequent ones being the clearinghouse and the rest.
Yeah.
Banks were being forced or coerced to sort of move technology from the back burner,
Mm.
to the front, to being what we use to deliver the services. So that was my role. And as someone with the background in information systems, my job was to sort of translate these technical and non-technical understanding between stakeholders. So you have your internal staff who are the IT guys, operations guys, who are sort of working on the systems. They need to understand what the stakeholders on the market who are driving change, what they need, and how to equip them. You also have the business team, you have the banks, you have the customers who are using these products on the front end, who need to understand the technology behind it and why it works a certain way. And so leveraging my education, my job was to sort of be the go between these two stakeholders, internally and externally, to translate. Then I moved to a more technical role where I worked in back office, clearinghouse, card operations, and that gave me a very different perspective. So
Okay.
now I wasn't just selling the products, but I was sort of contributing to the design, to the sustainability of these products. So then you look at the back end with a
Mhm.
different lens.
Mhm.
Again, that gives a different perspective on the information needs of various stakeholders. In that role, my primary stakeholders then were now the internal users. Okay, so I had
Okay.
begun to work on information systems, collecting data, mostly in Excel files, harvesting it, sorting it, and trying to equip internal stakeholders. So operations, for instance, helping them to understand how to report performance. Um, Maybe C-suite executives, helping them track performance and things like that. Then the last bit was a proper then business analyst role where the company had grown and the need had crystallized. And so then I worked with both internal and external stakeholders. We had a BI tool that we use Power BI. We try to, and now my role moved from feeding them with the information, but equipping them to use the self-services we had provided. Because if you're a good business analyst, the institution you work with should be able to function and take data-informed decision without your constant intervention.
Mm.
So I should focus on making sure that we are extracting data properly, is being transformed properly, is loaded properly, is on time, there's quality. Anytime someone logs into a platform to say, okay, what's our hard balance as of today? What's the number of transactions? What was downtime? What was the impact? It should be instant. They don't need to come to me as a business analyst to now do Excel to write queries. No. for me, that was where we're getting to, is that it should become a lifestyle for my CEO to be able to do a presentation and call the numbers from his head and to speak to the trends over time. For my call center team to be able to report on performance, and not just so we had 2 downtimes today, but to go beyond and say, and the impact on this downtime on specific products was this or was that, and that was where we're going to. But now in the academic field is being in a unique position, like you pointed to earlier, where I do have experience of how these theories function. And so I can quickly tell that this is a very fanciful theory. It might not work. Oh yeah, this is a theory that worked fantastically in practice. So it's being able to straddle between practice and theory and to come up with innovative ways of looking at things. So I don't look at things in a frivolous way, but look at things with some informed experience. Technology has a certain behavior. It's nice on paper. I don't know if you've had that experience. You test everything in a UAT environment. It's working so nicely.
Yeah.
You get to your clients and you want to do your demo and everything you've not imagined begins to happen. And sometimes you look so ridiculous. You're like, everything is work. Like you can pinpoint the problem.
Yeah.
And some of these things are very difficult to put down in books. So if I'm doing design science, for instance, or I'm writing a process model for maybe as an academic and I'm assessing it, there's a tendency to assess it as a perfect system that goes from 1 to 2 to 3. But then being an academic from industry, I know that no, it may not go 1 to 2 to 3. You may do 1 to 4 to 3 and back to 2 and sometimes end up crashing the whole thing. Or sometimes putting it aside and coming back for it a few years later. So it's to see that this is a messy process, but learning from some of the mistakes and saying, if we skip this or we take note of this in time, then we can begin to see real change. So I hope I've answered your question.
More than you've given us a lot of insights and a lot of wisdom, and also actually speaking to several questions which I had in mind. You talked about the role of a business analyst, the value a business analyst offers to an organization, and even now the value you're still providing within academia based on actual or real industry use cases, which is actually very fantastic. And for me, one of the critical things I've had a lot of people struggle with is they had assumed, or there's this wrong assumption that anyone who is in the tech space must be a software engineer or must be a data scientist or cybersecurity expert. But even those are quite recent. So when I was still in school, it was either software engineering or network engineering and a little bit of database engineer. So finding the role of a business analyst, someone who has gone through the various stages of sitting between end users and technical people and providing that connection through understanding, through insights, through information, for me is very, very key. And I'm so happy to have you. The question I have for you is, how did you discover this unique opportunity in business analyst? How come you didn't go any of the other routes? Because not everybody wants to be a software engineer or loves it or desires to be there, or database or any of the others. How did you discover this fine opportunity? Let me ask.
So for starters, I don't think it was a deliberate choice. I'm not one of those kids who you ask at age 5 or 6, what do you want to be in the future? And I had an idea of it kept changing, honestly. And there were many times as a young person, I didn't know what I wanted. But I'll give you a bit of background. So in SS, I did food and nutrition.
Okay, wow.
Econs. Wow. And I didn't like it because it's one of those courses that we don't respect. Okay. We look down on it, and I went to a big girl, so I wanted to do science. So worst case, one of the maybe languages or CRS or something, but I did food and nutrition. The lesson that taught me was to adapt. And for me, that has gone through to where I am now. Is being able to adapt, to being able to understand that, okay, I may not see a full picture. It may not align with my original situation, but I am here now. and this is what is available. So can I make the best out of what is like cooking? These are the ingredients I have. These are need that exist. So can I put it together to meet that need efficiently? And then I come to university thinking that, okay, now that I've been thrown to do home econs, I like science, so I'll go and become a dietitian. I applied to the University of Ghana, and it turns out that I needed to have done biology as my fourth elective. But Every Girls did not offer biology as one of the options to home econ students. We did general knowledge in arts, which is painting, which I failed perfectly, like terribly. I had to resit. Just to let you know that I'm terrible with drawing.
Yeah.
And I was asked to choose some courses. For some odd reason, information systems just sounded nice. And at that time, he had just changed name from librarianship to information system.
Okay.
And this person who was helping with the form was like, oh, it's just knowing information sources and the needs of various users and matching it to them. So your job is, where can I get credible information to meet certain people's needs? And that again stuck with me.
Wow.
When I joined GIBS, I tell people that I'm very lucky, and most of us who joined GIBS between, say, 2007 and 2010, thereabout, we're a lucky generation in the sense that we got to evolve with the ecosystem, and we're in a very unique position where you work with various stakeholders. And so how did I get into the role? By being a busybody. Literally. I would do it.
Yeah.
So you can ask anyone at GIBS, particularly those who were there with my superiors. Oh, I need to do this Excel file. I'll do it. I need to write this write-up. I'll do it. We go for banking fair. I'll document it. We come back. I'll do the recon. I'll write a report. Why? Because I thought I could do it. I didn't mind doing it. I just felt that it added to, and maybe because of my information systems background, subconsciously, I knew how to sort of pull together the reports and make it look good. So I began to become the go-to person. I'm also very organized with the way I handle my work. So even my emails are organized in departmental folders, and within the department, I could have folders for each person within the department, and I have it saved. So I'm very organized because I forget easily. And so to save myself the stress of trying to recall, I'm very organized. And again, if you did information systems and there's a lot of librarianship vibe in it, you know that being able to index your data and be able to sort it properly so you can find it quickly is a key skill. And so a few years down the line, I realized that people kept coming to me, and they also realized that they kept coming to me for information that they thought was lost. Or we'll be in a meeting and say, oh, we had this document a few years back and was at this meeting. And I was like, oh, I was copied in that email.
Wow.
Who sent the email? Mr. Kosa. Oh, yeah, I have a folder for Mr. Kosa.
Wow.
And I put in there and it's there because I would have pulled it. That.
Wow.
And so they realized that, okay, Melissa is the kind of person. And then the opportunities to sort of build my skills. And then I tell a lot of young people, the amount of time you spend on online browsing, you could counter that with a bit of learning. Coursera was one of those places for me. FutureLearn was one of those places for me. I don't know how I got myself, but I just guilt-tripped myself into countering whatever time I spent online with some studies. And so if I realized I probably spent 2 hours browsing the internet, to compensate my heart, I'll go and do 30 minutes of my Coursera studies. Just so I could feel good, Then I could say, I've been productive today, But I was learning as I went along the way.
Wow.
When it was infused. So my offering to do a lot of work, my building my skills became copious to my leaders in the organization. And so with time, when there were opportunities for challenging roles, they put me in. I'll be honest, a lot of times when I started by crying because I had planned something with the current role and now you've changed it. So I'll probably cry the first 2-3 weeks, but then again, adapting. Thinking that you are here now, you can't resign, you need to make money. You are not a millionaire's child, so what do? Well, you've got to do the work. And so I adapt to that. And so it was more like my skills became obvious to them and the opportunities were provided. So it's not luck. I say sometimes luck meets preparation. So there was preparation, there was enthusiasm, there was interest, you understand? And people see these things. And so the opportunities were offered. to
Yeah.
me. I have not had
Yeah.
to lobby for any opportunity, but
Mhm.
they were offered to me,
Mhm.
and that's how I built them. Then I think a few years back, I had a conversation with my dad, and he was saying, "Oh, do you know what do you do at work?" And I mentioned, "Oh, it's one of the top emerging fields of interest with time. Did you know that?" And my dad is those kind of people who likes to read
Yeah.
all kinds of things. And so he threw that, "Oh, it's a nice area. You should develop it." And he sort of linked me, drew my attention to the fact that being a business analyst is a role. That's why I got the word. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I worked in the role, but I didn't know what my function was
It
in
was.
in that light.
Mm.
I sort of started to be more conscious of myself in that role,
Mhm.
to read
Mhm.
about it, to see what it meant, and then to develop it and to make it my own, to infuse my own personal character into the role. So it's taking opportunities and being open to people giving you more of those opportunities. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I don't have a hand clap sound, but I'm going to clap for you myself. And you've given us a lot of wisdom. You know, in my book, one of the I open up with natural gifts and talents because what academia offers us or learning, formal learning offers us adds on to what we naturally are gifted with. And sometimes we don't really think those skill sets are important. But whilst you were sharing your journey and your stories, I could really see your capacity for adapting to things, your willingness to try, your openness to still learn, because learning is a habit. Some people think after school there's no more learning, but willingness and desire to acquire more knowledge has been of tremendous help. And even being very detailed, actually storing files per names of stakeholders, and that's brilliant. That really shows that you're a very organized person. And you know, some of these skill sets can't really be taught in school. However, they were key to success for you in delivering on your tasks and your assignments. And those are some of the things I open up with in my book. The reason being that if I take my own career journey, I started off formally with I did computer science and started off as a software engineer, and I've done several things. Right now, I do a lot more of digital transformation and product and service innovations. So, innovating value, providing IT related strategy for leaders, and enabling them achieve various visions. But one of the skill sets that have carried on all these years have almost always been the same: innovative problem solving. So whenever I see someone struggling, I'm thinking there must be an easier way to do this. And what's the easiest way we can get this problem out of the way so that the person can progress? In fact, it's also the reason why this show is very passionate with me, because I know confusion is a killer of momentum. So when people are confused,
Yes.
they cannot make career progress or they cannot deliver the best at work because they are not feeling fulfilled or they don't have clarity in their mind. So to help them continue progressing in career, I thought, okay, let's have conversations with people, let's understand their journeys. And it's at the end of the day, for me, all of these inner skill sets, we don't talk about them, but they are what we stand on to add more value to the world based on the various things.
Yes.
And also, you mentioned something, your supervisors or those you reported to could identify the skills within you. Sometimes you think nobody is watching, but people are able to tell
Mm,
from afar what your gifts and your talents are and what you are naturally very good at. So they can
yes.
open doors for you when those opportunities comes up. And I think for me the key lesson is that keep doing you and being you, and the opportunity
Yes. Yes.
would flow. That's fantastic. Before we run up, I would want to ask you if you were looking at someone who was still not sure of what they wanted to do, but picked the word business analyst or an analyst, or really like information and enabling people succeed by making information accessible. What kind of advice would you give them so they can turn out so well as you have done?
Well, thanks for the many compliments. I'm blushing. It's showing. Don't worry.
I can see them.
So
Thank
the
you.
first thing, so the first thing to being a business analyst is really understanding the business that
Mm,
you are going to analyze. Is
mhm,
being quite immersed in the work you're doing. Okay, being aware of your situation, keeping in tune with the changes that will happen, because no one is going to come to you for information if you're still. So it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of volunteering, it's a lot of being present.
mm,
And you find a lot of people think that, oh, I'm in charge of the Power BI, I'm in charge of the Excel file. So as and when they ask me, then I'll Google or I would pull the report. You're not there to pull the report. Sometimes even the report comes out, you should. I used to tell people in games that sometimes the data has a spirit, and it's maybe because I've been in the organization for so long. Sometimes I pull the report, and inside I'm like, this this data doesn't look right. There's something wrong.
mm,
I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel this is not how the trend. This is not the kind of report I should see. So I start with business. What happened? I've seen a change, or I feel a change. Then I speak to IT. Did we have a downtime? Did we lose some data? Have we done all backups? And at the end of the day, sometimes we've lost data, or
mm,
we lost data and I didn't know, and they've now come to put the data back in. Also
mm,
says business has done something they didn't even think will have an impact on the
mm,
report. Oh, Leap hadn't paid for some time, so we decided today gave us money, we paid all at once. You need to be involved.
mhm.
People skills is, I can't say that enough. And I think often maybe as employers there's a need for us to begin to articulate that as a critical. I know it's difficult to put it in an assessment for interviews and the rest, but people skills is a make or break for you as a business analyst, because you're going to engage people, you're going to help them to understand things. And if someone is coming to you for information, it's because they're confused, or they are lost, or they are panicking. So it is not that time you're going to show off or be as confused as them. So you must have solid people skills. You must know how to engage. You must know how
Wow.
to play with. You must know people's, you know, the temperaments, but you should have a good control over your own temperament. You
Mm,
don't get angry. I
mm,
mean, for me, yes, I know I'm lucky in that sense, is that I'm very slow to anger.
mm,
And I tell people that don't compare me to some of my friends and people I know that, oh, if it's Melissa, I shouldn't be angry. It's just the way I am. It's a gift. I take it. But if you can learn to be very much in control of what you're doing, it helps. Because there are many times where you might put out a report and someone takes offense. For instance, when I was at Gibbs, I usually write 2 reports of the same data. So if it's our performance for the full year, I'm a lot more candid, a lot more raw
mm,
to the report that goes to executive management. I'm not going to
mm,
sugarcoat it, and
mm,
and it's not edited. It's very raw on the figures and what happened and what didn't work, and I put it there. But what goes to the public, I give it to my comms team. I say to comms team, we make it very nice and sweet, because the KPI is not public.
yeah.
But with time, I realized that it also didn't help a lot of my executives, because then they looked bad. And when
Mm,
they look bad, then they're demoralized. And my intention is not to make them look bad. I'm trying to sell the fact as it is. So I
mm,
needed to engage them differently. So at a point, instead of submitting that internal report straight to the CEO, I go local. So I go and start speaking to my colleagues in those departments. Hey, Charlie, this time, hey, your transactions, it didn't come crow. Hey, what happened? Then we'll laugh over it. Sometimes at lunch. And then they tell me. Then I go to the exec that, oh, please, I've written your report. This is what it looks like. Can you just give me some? And I take their explanation into it. And when I'm reporting to the CEO with a final report, one, these executives and the staff who are on those schedules are aware of the performance and what I have seen, okay,
mm,
and how it compares to other departments.
mhm,
But then in the CEO's report, I've also included the explanations that coincides with theirs. So I'm
mm,
not helping them hide, but together with them, we've presented a solid story.
mm,
So
mm,
having a good people skills is important, but also having some, personal skills. Learning Excel. Excel is like a god. You should know it. I'm not saying learn how to code, but be exposed to coding. Okay, so if someone in IT tells you it's not possible, you can say, hey, it's a little bit possible. You try for me. And sometimes you need to give them grace to learn because they're human beings.
Yeah.
And then being just always in tune with how the system changes. And then reading beyond the organization. So that's the other thing. I read a lot of reports outside of Ghana so that you can flex on your reports, that when you report your internal performance, you can infuse it to some external direction as well. So there's a lot more. I'm available at your will to provide more information, but this is a few I can provide.
This is amazing, and thank you so much for summarizing that in a nutshell. Understand the organization, understand the business you are working in, and have a very good relationship with people. In my book, once again, I talk about communication skills because these types of skills, listening skills, communication skills, being empathetic, being kind, they don't talk about it in general education, in formal education, but these are the winning piece that enable a professional person in the IT space to be successful, because our job is service and we are always serving others. So if you can work well with people, you won't be successful. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you too for having me.
So glad to have you. And if someone wanted to connect with you, learn more about the research, the work you do, where can we find you?
So LinkedIn is a good place to find me. So my LinkedIn, Melissa Baba, if you find it, you see a picture that looks like me. Please send me a message and we could take it from there. All right. So LinkedIn is, I think, the most useful place to get.
All right. So if you are looking to connect with Dr. Baba and learn more about her expertise, her skill set, and how you can engage with her, please go on to LinkedIn. Thank you so much. And we are glad to have you and looking forward to engaging with you at a future date to learn more about your progress in academia.
Thank you very much, Winnie. I look forward to that as well. I wish you the very best with your project.
Thank you. Bye.
Right. Take care.
You too. Bye.